6 months ago, Chris Peterson of Columbia, South Carolina was desperate to lose weight, and in fact his life depended on it. Luckily, he found Bodysmith fitness training, and within the first 28 days, he lost an amazing 28 pounds. Today we follow up after 6 months of training and healthy eating to see how he's doing. 6 months ago you told me that you had trouble walking across a room. Tell people what you're doing this Saturday.
I'm going to be running in my first 5K at the Ray Tanner Foundation run. You know, for me to be able to physically run now is, I cannot, now I've gone past just jogging, I can actually sprint a little bit. And that's just an amazing feeling. It's just something that my son runs, and I couldn't physically run before. And so it's not that I'm a runner, but I wanted to have a milestone. I wanted to do something to get myself out of the box and kind of give me a focal point for pushing through, besides just my weight loss.
And Chris, take us back 6 months ago when you still had, it's 99 pounds that you've lost. Take us back when you had all that weight on you, what a typical day was like, how you were feeling, and kind of where you reached your breaking point.
Like I said, I couldn't hardly walk across the room without just being winded. I have tightness in my chest. I always wondered, am I having a heart attack? Am I, what's going on with me? I was to the point where I couldn't even walk hardly for exercise. I struggled to just walk like a little over a mile with that, and my lower back would be hurting so bad, and shin splints so bad I couldn't hardly move. And so I was tired all the time. I felt bad all the time. I'm a children's pastor at a church. And literally, I could barely survive the morning of two worship services, and I was just so physically exhausted, I just had to go home and collapse for 2 or 3 hours and sleep.
All right, and so now that you've got a bunch of this weight off, tell me about that now. What's your day like now? How are you feeling?
I feel amazing. I mean, now when I wake up, of course I work out in the morning, so I'm used to getting up and pretty much starting my day off with going and getting crazy. But it's just an amazing transformation. But I mean, literally, when I eat just not the best foods now, I start craving stuff I never would have thought I'd crave. I start craving the healthy lifestyle of food. It's just a day of eating marginal food, and I'm ready to go back onto it. So that's been amazing.
Chris, why do you think this program has worked for you, whereas some of the other things you may have tried didn't? What sort of things were you doing before?
I've walked a lot. I did a lot of things like, I swam and did things like that. But I think it was partly I never, you can't out-exercise what your mouth does, for one thing, what you're eating. Part of it is just, I had a lot of injuries, and I was so overweight, so obese that I struggled with wondering, am I hurting myself? And so it was important to me having Josh here to kind of help me work around things when they need to be worked around. So all those things have really helped me. But I think the biggest key to me is the program is so demanding and so that it pushes the limit of what I can do, and mentally and physically. And it was hard enough that it made me think twice when I was going to eat something, because when I worked myself that doggone hard, I just couldn't stand the fact that I was going to wipe that out with like 2 minutes of pleasure for eating something, And so that really has helped me stay on course with my eating more, because I don't want what I'm doing to be in vain, because it's too hard. I don't want to lose it. So I think that's been a big key for me.
Chris, not only are you looking and feeling better, it's actually showing up on paper. You expressed to me some time ago that you were afraid to go to the doctor and find out what kind of shape you were in before you started. And you've just been to the doctor recently. Could you share with us some of the things that they told you then?
Okay, a little over 3 years ago, I went to a doctor and had a bunch of blood work done. I was categorized as being pre-diabetic and with metabolic syndrome. Basically, it means I was a high risk. My cholesterol was 232. My triglycerides were 522. My HDL, good cholesterol, was 31. My blood pressure was 139 over 93, and my insulin level was 11.6. I was really, concerned about even going back even after working out with Josh and losing, a lot of my weight. I still got a long ways to go, but I was concerned about, what's going to happen? Have I done permanent damage to myself? I was really pleased just this last week to find out from the doctor that my cholesterol is now below 200, 178. My triglycerides have dropped all the way down to 116. My good cholesterol is up to 43, and my insulin level has dropped down to 6.1. And my blood pressure is 110/70, which is better than it was when I was in my 20s, when I was at a good weight. So just amazing transformation. But the biggest thing to me was I was categorized as 70% above the average risk for heart disease 3 years ago, and I was actually 25 pounds less than I was when I started with Josh at that time. And I was 70% above. Now I'm 30% below the average person. So that's a 100% turnaround. Because I'm still overweight, and I'm still 30% below the average person's risk for heart disease. So that's just, golly, that says it all.
All right, so Chris, your blood pressure dropped from 139/93 to 110/70. Your cholesterol dropped 54 points, and your triglycerides went down 406 points, and that was all in 6 months. And you lost 99 pounds to boot.
Yeah, and also, Josh, almost 42 inches.
Yeah, my bad. Can't leave that out. Well, Chris, a lot of people who have a lot of weight to lose, you and I both know it's hard taking that first step and, trying to commit to something. What kind of things might you tell somebody? Like, if you had the opportunity to talk to your old self then, what would you say to yourself to encourage you to finally take that step and do what you know now has changed your life?
Well, one of the first things that you taught me, Josh, was that it's a matter of your mind, of changing your mind. And people talk about a lifestyle change, but it's really it goes into something that your mind is going to dictate where your body and everything else goes. And so, changing your mind is not an easy thing, but it's very possible. And once you totally and truly change your mind, you can do anything. There's nothing that you can't do. And I remember the first week or so that I had daily battles that I had to just tell myself, you can do this, it's just this long, you can do it, keep going. And it was tough. I'm not going to say it wasn't hard, but once I began to finally get some victories and changing my mind and actually willing my body to do things that I didn't think was possible for my body to do and push it a little bit further than I was used to pushing it, after a while then it became easier for my mind to say, no, we are doing this and there's no stopping. And so it's if you can push yourself to get through those the hardest, I'd say the first couple of weeks, really if you can just get past those first 2 to 3 weeks of pushing yourself and really training your mind, not just go through the motions, but change your mind, you can change your life. And that's it's that simple. And it's something I never really understood I was always on diets, never understood that it really is about changing your mind and really changing your life. And once that happened, I began to crave it, and it really opened up a brand new life to me that I could tell myself, why didn't you do this 15 years ago? Josh wasn't there to help me 15 years ago, but be part of it. It really is that simple. If you change your mind, you can change your life.